Welcome friends to the third episode in this festive series, where I'm travelling across the country and even over the water to seek out the best of Christmas cheer. In today's video, I'm wandering around a Christmas market that attracts approximately 9 million visitors annually. During the 19th century, it was the Industrial Revolution that put this city on the map. But today, it's one of the largest Christmas markets in England that's making people talk about Manchester. The Manchester Christmas Market, now in its 26th year, has certainly been one to watch, with influencers over on TikTok producing viral content of quirky food offerings, skyrocketed prices and huge crowds. So I felt it was high time I headed on over to check it all out for you. So, put on your Christmas jumpers and grab yourself a hot chocolate as we jingle on down to Manchester.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Claire and this is the Wanderlust way. Thank you to everybody for watching and thanks to everybody that likes, subscribes and supports the channel in any way that they do. So I'm continuing with the festive episodes and today I am at number 3 on the Christmas market trail and I'm here in Manchester, which is one of the biggest Christmas markets in England. So I'm going to have a look again like the others at 5 different things. We're looking at the stall variety, we're looking at the food and drink options here, we're looking at the entertainment, we're looking at the value for money, and most importantly we're looking at how much festive cheer does it bring. Okay, so there's so much to do today, that's enough waffle, let's wander.
The Manchester Christmas Market is one of the largest and most popular in the whole of the UK. First launched in 1999 on a single site in St Anne's Square, its popularity simply snowballed, growing year on year to become the Christmas beast that it is today. Taking place daily from now until the 22nd of December, it's spread across 9 locations in the city, meaning I'll be putting in quite a bit of legwork to showcase everything it has to offer for you. Manchester promises seasonal treats, mulled wine and a wonderful festive atmosphere, so it seems only right that I included it on this year's list. I'm visiting midweek to avoid the crowds, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it matches up to the other markets we've seen so far. By the end of the video, I'll share with you my visiting tips and perhaps a few ideas on how you could extend your Christmas stay here in the city. So now we're going to have a look at what the stall variety is like here at Manchester Christmas Market. The Manchester Christmas Market 2024 spans 9 key spots across the city centre. They include King Street West, St Anne's Square, Exchange Street, New Cathedral Street, Exchange Square, the Corn Exchange, Cathedral Gardens, Market Street and Piccadilly Gardens. Whilst many areas feature a delightful mix of food and gift stalls, I found that the best spots for Christmas shopping were along Market Street, New Cathedral Street and St Anne's Square. These areas were brimming with huts offering unique gifts and treasures that made the Christmas shopping experience much more fun than a day in the Trafford Centre. One of the standout aspects of the market was the abundance of independent businesses, each showcasing handmade and bespoke items. I was absolutely spoiled for choice here. There were beautiful traditional handmade souvenirs from Ukraine, charming Christmas houses crafted in Lithuania, and intricate wooden nativity scenes. For those looking for gifts, the variety was remarkable. Everything from jewellery, clothing and bags, to home items and unique Christmas decorations. For the foodies, there were plenty of treats to stock up for the big day, including artisan spirits, pork pies, German salami and an excellent selection of cheese, including the same company we came across in Nottingham. What impressed me the most was not just the variety, but the warmth and friendliness of the stall holders. Many of them took the time to share stories about their products, which made the shopping experience feel personal and memorable. I managed to pick up some lovely Christmas gifts for friends and family and left feeling thoroughly inspired by the creativity and festive spirit on display. Taking everything into account, therefore, I'm rating the Manchester Christmas Market on stall variety a well-deserved 5 out of 5. Manchester truly excelled in this area, offering an impressive range of options for unique and thoughtful Christmas gifts. I dare say even Santa himself would be amazed at the incredible opportunities to do gift shopping here. Now let's take a look at the food and drink options. Now we're on to my favourite section, the food and drink. Once again, Manchester has truly gone above and beyond, and you'd have to be incredibly fussy not to find something to suit your taste here. Most of the food stalls were centred around Piccadilly Gardens, which offered plenty of seating. It was lovely to see so many people enjoying their food in a relaxed atmosphere, from groups of friends sharing a laugh to families warming up with hearty dishes. That said, the food isn't limited to one spot. If your hunger strikes in another part of the city, you're still in luck, because food and drink stalls are dotted throughout the streets. This means you can grab a bite as you explore, making the entire market feel like a city-wide feast. And what a feast it was! The variety on offer was nothing short of spectacular. Sweet tooth? Well, you'll love the mini Dutch pancakes, fruit crumble and decadent waffles. But if you're craving something a little more filling, then Manchester has options like shepherd's pie loaded Yorkshire puddings, Asian dumplings, butter fried chicken and burritos. And if that's not enough, there's always steak frite or Korean hot dogs. And of course the classics like fish and chips and bratwurst. And what's a good bit of scran without something to wash it down with? Well, on that note, Manchester's drink offerings were just as impressive as the food. The bar areas were well thought out, with several featuring indoor sections where you could escape the chill. Whether you were after a festive tipple or something comforting, the variety was endless. Mulled wines came in a range of flavours, and I couldn't resist sampling a hot mulled cider, which was absolutely divine. Right then, so I've got a hot spiced mulled cider from the Manchester Christmas Market, and let's try it. Hey, it's good. This was a small one, £6.50, and you pay £3.50 deposit, but then I'll take the cup back. For the non-drinkers, the market served up indulgent hot chocolates in flavours that made them feel like dessert in a cup. And for those looking for something celebratory, there were plenty of beer options and even Christmas Prosecco to add a touch of sparkle to your day. What stood out most was the vibrant atmosphere around the food and drink stalls. The sizzling sounds, the incredible aromas, and the warmth from the stall holders made the experience truly special. There is something magical about standing under twinkling lights with a plate of food in hand, soaking in the festive cheer. And so I think it's fair to say that Manchester completely delivered in this category. And honestly, my only regret is not having more time or a bigger appetite to try everything. I might just have to plan a return visit solely to indulge in all the culinary delights I missed the first time round. So, for food and drink, I'm awarding Manchester a bauble rating of 5 out of 5. The choice was truly spectacular, and I can confidently say it's a foodie's paradise. Just one word of advice: pack the Rennies, because you'll definitely want to make the most of it. Let's now take a look at the entertainment options available. Now let's talk about the entertainment. Unfortunately, this is the one area where I feel Manchester didn't quite pull out all of the stops this year. There is an ice skating rink in Cathedral Gardens, which is undercover, beautifully lit and a great size. It did look stunning and seemed like a fun activity for those brave enough to hit the ice. However, beyond that, there wasn't much to offer in terms of entertainment, especially for children. There were Christmas photo booths, which could be a great way to capture memories of your visit, especially if you're with family, friends or on a hot date. But aside from those two things mentioned, I didn't come across much else. I didn't see any rides, which was disappointing compared to the other markets I visited, and there was no big wheel to gaze upon the crowds from a great height. But maybe I've been spoilt by the likes of Birmingham and Nottingham. So, whilst sipping mulled wine next to wooden chalets might be enough for some, there wasn't much else to keep younger visitors entertained. I'm sure I'll get a bit of negativity from my Grinchy sounding tone, so I will point out there was a bit of Bublé playing through the sound system, and I did spot a singing tree. But aside from these elements, the entertainment options honestly felt quite limited. I have heard, however, that there's a parade planned for the 8th of December, which is going to blow Manchester's Christmas socks off, but I sadly will have moved on by then, and so can't really factor it into the general rating, but it's one to look out for if you're available that day. With all this in mind, I'm therefore rating Manchester Christmas Market on entertainment with a bauble score of 2 out of 5. This market really shines when it comes to food, drink and shopping, so if those are your priorities, you'll likely have a fantastic time. However, if you're looking for something packed with fun for the kids or a wider variety of attractions, you may want to consider other options.
And something that's really important, we're going to now have a look at the value. How much does stuff cost here at Manchester Christmas Market 2024?
This is now the third Christmas market I've visited in the UK this year, and I'm starting to notice similar patterns where value is concerned. Yes, the prices can be more than your local takeaway or pub, but it's the surroundings that you're paying for, and I imagine the privilege of having a stall at a market like this comes at quite a high price. As in previous episodes, I've listed down the same items at each market so you can compare the prices. It was harder to do this at Manchester as the prices did fluctuate and I simply couldn't get round every stall to double check. But here's what I did see, and if you know any different then please do say in the comments. Hot chocolate with Baileys was from £7. A pint of beer was from £6. A bratwurst was from £8. Roasted chestnuts, again I couldn't find them at this market so I can't give you a price on those. Mulled wine was from £6. There was a deposit to pay on the one we had. There was a deposit, I think it was about £3.50, but you get that back when you hand your mug back. The big wheel, they didn't have one so I can't give you a price on that. Ice skating was from £14 for the adults. So based on these prices, Manchester was about average on value, perhaps slightly cheaper than Birmingham, on the beer especially, but a little more than Nottingham on, say, the ice skating. So with all that in mind, I'm going to award Manchester a value rating of 3.5 out of 5. Yes, if you want to go full out with the food, then you will need deep pockets. But I'm starting to see that that's the same with all these kinds of places.
And finally, after all of that, how much festive cheer does it bring? How Christmassy does it make us feel?
And finally, let's judge Manchester on its level of good old-fashioned Christmas cheer. Did one of the UK's largest Christmas markets put us in the festive mood? In all honesty, the Manchester market does exactly what it says on the tin. It gives the city a market experience with a great variety of festive offerings. Yes, it lacked on the entertainment side, and once again I didn't see roasted chestnuts, but the decorations were beautiful, and when the sun went down, the place really did come alive. That said, being one of the largest Christmas markets comes with its own expectations and hurdles. The vast expanse of the stalls does mean a lot of walking from one end to the other. Because of this, you don't feel the cosy cluster of smaller markets, and it can be quite tiring. But I'll cover some ways to combat this in my visiting tips next. So, with all things considered, I'm going to rate Manchester a 3.5 out of 5 on Christmas cheer level. It's got a lot of good things going for it, but it does lose points on the entertainment side of things and for how spread out it is. Festive Cheer is a hard one to judge, but I think sometimes the bigger an event, the harder it becomes to create that cosy Christmas atmosphere. It's done well though, and I think the closer we get to Christmas, the more it might shine. And so if you're thinking of coming to Manchester Christmas Market after all that, here's my top visiting tips. If you've been on my channel before, then you know I'm no stranger to Manchester, and because I have family here, it's a city that holds a special place in my heart. To get the most from your visit to the Christmas market though, I'd suggest the following tips. Choose your start point wisely. Because the market is vast, there are various points on the map where you could begin. On this occasion, I made the mistake of parking at the wrong end of town, which meant a longer walk. Therefore, I'm advising you start either near the cathedral or around Piccadilly Gardens, both of which have car parks and hotels nearby. Allow yourself plenty of time. I didn't factor in how much time it would take to walk from one end of the market to the other, and in all honesty, I didn't allocate myself enough time. To truly appreciate the Manchester Christmas market, I'd either suggest coming for a full day or breaking it up with an overnight stay and doing it at your leisure over 2 days. I stayed overnight near St Peter's Square at the Wild Apartments, but because I had to dash off early the next day, it meant there still wasn't enough time. The Wild Apartments are lovely and I'd like to return on another trip to Manchester, but for this trip I think the City Suites would have been better, as they not only have a car park next to them, but they are very close to the cathedral, which makes a good starting point. Avoid peak times. Like all these kinds of events, if you can come midweek, then please do that. It was still busy when we went, but I imagine at the weekend it can get very crowded. Getting here. Manchester has a good public transport network, including trams, trains and buses. If you're coming in from Piccadilly Station on the train, then you're in a good spot to hit the food stalls first in Piccadilly Gardens. There are also lots of car parks dotted around, although they do get busy and expensive, so I always secure myself a place in advance by booking through sites like Just Park. Go there hungry? Because Manchester pulls out all the stops when it comes to food, I'd recommend coming here on an empty stomach so you can sample as many options as possible. And the good news on that front is that Christmas calories don't count, or so I've been told. Get a map. To ensure you don't miss anything, there is a handy map of the market which is ideal to save on your phone. I'll pop a link to it in the description below. And lastly, if you fancy making your trip into a few days holiday, then there is always something going on in Manchester. During December, there's Cinderella at the Opera House, Disney on Ice at the AO Arena, and A Christmas Carol at the Lowry. Or, if you just fancy taking in the sights, then feel free to watch my earlier video on the top 5 places to visit in Manchester city centre.
Thank you to everybody for watching, and thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing. I really do appreciate it.